The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to The Choice, where we are covering today Season 3, Episode 5 of The Chosen. It is Clean Part 2. Excellent episode. Emotional episode. Heavy. Very heavy episode. How are you doing, Ghost?
Agreed. I'm good. How are you today?
Doing good.
Yeah, it was, it's strange. Last week we got into this like a deep discussion on like the Pharisees and the Sanhedrin, and exploring the idea that they were practicing like a different religion than like the common Jew. I think I said something along the lines of there's a seems to be a contempt, like an actual animus in the Sanhedrin towards Jesus, obviously in this story, but then also like by extension in Talmudic Judaism in Israel. And then like a few days later, we get the iconic image of this IDF soldier smashing the crucifix of Jesus with the sledgehammer. It's like that was a little serendipitous in a terrible way, but I think it speaks to the conversation we had last week.
Yeah, and Ghost and I had that conversation about the IDF soldier and the other, activities happening in the region on Monday's Culture of Change. Yep. So if you missed it, you can check that out. Always a good time when you and I talk, not just talking about Israel, but when you and I are talking about anything, we have fun.
Yes. Yep. I agree. And I kind of had a version of that conversation with Matt yesterday. Matt aired on Breaking History. But it's funny because the more I do these shows with you, like specifically this show, it's like the more these conversations and these ideas bleed into like my other analysis. And It's like I can't separate it now. It's like it's all the same thing at this point.
Which is part of the conversation we had on Monday, because when Ghost and I started, I think the first time we really went at it on the kind of end times conversation was in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And we had so much fun. We were at the Gart, Dallas, and sitting at a table outside. There's a couple people there, and then there were a couple more people there. And before we knew it, there was a crowd surrounding us as we were debating specifically whether or not Mohammed bin Salman would be the Antichrist. If the Antichrist, as the dispensationalists tell that story, is real, who are the players on the game board? We had so much fun. We started having those conversations. People were demanding those conversations. Everybody wanted another. We've never been able to replicate that specific Gart experience, which was fantastic. But we have had a lot of great conversations since then. And when we started, you were very much in the position, I think, and don't let me mischaracterize this, but very much in the position of you cannot talk about Israeli politics, geopolitics, the geopolitical disputes and tensions and all of the things in that region. You can't conflate that with religion, right? You need to separate these things and talk about them separately. And I think what we've learned, and it's kind of always been my position, is that the people that are the most staunch defenders of the U.S. foreign policy towards Israel are making that case from a religious standpoint. They're making a religious case for why we have to have that orientation. And that, so because of that, you sort of can't get away from it. You have to understand, what I think it's important for everybody to read the Bible. But specifically, if you're going to be calling for, war with Iran, on a biblical basis, you should read the book and know what it says and understand it. And ever since that conversation we had in Dallas, we've been doing that. I think we're having a blast.
Yeah. Agreed. And yes, that was my approach. But just to be clear, my approach wasn't that you can't do those things, that you can't have religion as part of it. It's that at that point I was saying we shouldn't, because it had become a narrative shield within the discussion where I think people had blinders on because of the conditioning, for lack of a better word, of how we in America have been trained and conditioned to view the Middle East and that entire like dynamic that is unfolding there. And so what I was just saying is that if you objectively just remove the labels from the sides and you just look at it objectively of like the events that were transpiring, it becomes more and more clear that what we're being told is not lining up with what we've been told about those entities is not lining up actually with like doctrine, scripture, and then what's unfolding in these events. It's like, is this actually being done in the name of Christ and under like the quote unquote Judeo-Christian values? Like, it seems more and more obvious that that's not what this is all about. It's actually about something very different. And that is being that idea that doctrine is weaponized against the people, very much in the same way that the Sanhedrin, I think, weaponize the Jewish doctrine against the Jewish people in the context of the biblical story.
And Jesus tells us that you will know them by their fruit. So, everybody needs to decide for themselves. But when you look at the fruit of an alliance, of a nation, of a government, and that fruit is deception, death, destruction, you got to ask the question, is that actually what God's doing? Or is that what people are doing, using the name of God to justify their actions? Everybody needs to decide for themselves. But today we're doing clean part 2. And we are going to get right into it. But before we do that, let's talk about our incredible sponsors. And first up, we have Badlands Shop. Have you checked out Badlands Shop lately? You might be surprised at what you've been missing, from thoughtful gifts and unique finds to everyday household essentials, personal care must-haves. There's truly something for everyone at the Badlands Shop. But here's what makes it different. Every single purchase you make is so much more than buying stuff. You're investing directly in the movement. You're empowering America First businesses. You're lifting up fellow Badlanders, and you're supporting the creators who are building this community with us. Thank you for being a part of this. Your support means everything. Now head over to badlandsmedia.tv/shop or click shop on the main menu at badlandsmedia.tv and discover your new favorite brands. One more time, that's badlandsmedia.tv/shop. And we love the Badlands Shop. There are, if you're thinking about, getting a gift, or you need a specific thing, before you go to Amazon, and I know it's easier and it's, super convenient, but a lot of the stuff you're buying on there is from China or other nations. If you are looking for a gift, looking for unique America First gift ideas, head over to Badlands Shop, badlandsmedia.tv/shop. Second up, we have gold. It's officially a new era for gold and silver. Gold has broken $5,000 an ounce, and silver has surged past $100. In 2025 alone, gold jumped 64%, while silver skyrocketed 150%. And with political and economic uncertainty ahead, 2026 could bring even bigger moves. After such a historic run, a pullback is normal. Metals move fast, so some consolidation is expected, but top analysts are calling for even higher prices. We've seen the first bank failure of 2026, with regulators shutting down Metropolitan Capital Bank and Trust in Chicago. Could more follow? It's no surprise Americans are pulling money from banks and turning to the proven protection of gold and silver. Big news, Goldco is celebrating America's 250th anniversary with a limited time bonus. Get up to 10% free gold or silver, plus free storage and a free home safe with a qualifying cash purchase. This offer won't last, so act now. Are we seeing the early signs of another 2008 style crisis? Don't wait for the next shoe to drop. Protect your wealth with precious metals, because in uncertain times, gold and silver shine the brightest. Visit badlandsgold.com today for your free 2026 gold and silver kit and your bonus buy. That's badlandsgold.com. All right. So where we left off last week, where did we leave off last week? Because we didn't get to the full episode. I think we were going to, should we continue and finish out the Jairus story arc and then get into Veronica? Oh, you seem muted to me. Is it me or is it you? Can you guys hear Ghost? Let me know in the chat if you can hear Ghost. No, now you're muted in StreamYard, but it looked like you're.
How about now?
There we go.
Yeah, it was the USB cable, I think, had come loose or something.
Gotcha.
Yes, I think we should start with Jairus. I think we talked about before that it's all kind of like one big conversation in this episode. But yeah, so I think we start with Jairus and then continue on to Veronica.
Yeah. So Jairus, his daughter, at the end of last episode, his wife screams out Jairus because his daughter has ostensibly died. She was sick. He was looking for ways to heal her, and we end up at the end of the last episode where the implication is that she's dead. This episode starts, and on the Jairus story arc, she has died. The Pharisee comes in, tells him he needs to buy mourners. That whole thing is so weird to me. And it is a cultural thing that they would do, hire mourners to come in and weep and wail over a dead person. But it's so fake. Like it's that whole thing. I don't know, but customarily, if you have a take on that, but the whole thing is just weird to me.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, this is strange. Like you're paying people to come like express sorrow and wail, right? Literally wail, and they didn't even know necessarily know the deceased, right? That like you said, it seems very contrived and very like disingenuous. And for me personally, it would be hard for me to like process my own grief and like mourn while that was happening, like right in my house, right?
Yeah, exactly. Agree. So Jairus spins out in this episode, and he goes back to the synagogue, and he's searching for something, and Yusuf comes in, and he's like, you've got to take me to Jesus. He doesn't say it that way, but he's basically saying like, I need to see him. I need to see this healer that you wrote that letter about, that you put in my, cold storage for a rainy day. Like I need to see this guy. And they set out to go find Jesus. They first go to Andrew. They first go to Andrew's house, or to go see Andrew, and they run into Judas.
Yeah.
And Judas tells them to go find Simon. And they get to Simon's house, where they're all hanging around talking about the wineskins. I think we should just play this all the way through and talk about it.
Yeah. So let's start it with Jairus approaching Yusuf and asking him to help him.
Okay, so we're going to say goodbye to YouTube now. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the like button and head over to Rumble or X so you can continue the show with us. If you're watching us on Rumble already, please hit the like button and drop into the chat and just say hi, because unique chatters are a key metric that helps us on Rumble. So we'd appreciate that. But for now, we're going to say goodbye to YouTube. Love you guys. Hope to see you over here on Rumble.